Hello, viewers. Today we will be talking about Caesar's Legion. Before we start, I apologise that I haven't made a video in a long time. There's no excuse. I just kind of stopped for no reason, so gotta try and make that up for you guys by dishing out a few videos. Today we'll be talking about Caesar's Legion. Um, we'll be talking about like a small little introduction, Caesar himself, his rise to power, his war with the NCR, and a bit of an overview about his government and his ways of rule and all of that stuff. Let me get comfortable. Alright, so Caesar. Caesar Legion is an imperialist organization founded and led by the powerful Caesar. His legions are a well-organized army of slaves. His legionnaires use similar tactics to raiders, burning and pillaging what they can find. They mainly operate on the east of the Great Canyon and in former state of Arizona. So Caesar Legion is, I can imagine most of you know what Caesar Legion is because you guys play Fallout and stuff. But for the people who don't know, it's kind of like Rome, post-apocalyptic, if like kind of. Yeah, let me tell you more about it. So Caesar himself, uh, born around 2226 near the Boneyard as Edward Sallow, Caesar was once a citizen of the NCR. Strange because he's kind of like the main enemy of the NCR. Thinking about that, he was a part of the NCR in his youth. Pretty radical to think about. Following the death of his father at the hands of raiders in 2228, his mother turned to the followers of the apocalypse. While she was gone, Edward learned how to read, write, and learn about politics. So this is a very important part of his life. He started to realize that the NCR is corrupt and crime infested, and he didn't support that. So he always liked to kind of go against the NCR, but he was still in the NCR. In politics, but not right now because obviously this is his youth. This young Edward, young Caesar. He learned this when he was very young. That's a good skill to have in a leader. He knew about like most of the politics at the beginning. He learned it when he was young. His rise to power. Caesar slowly started to hate the NCR as he grew older because of the corruption and crime. He learned the local tribe languages because he thought he could unite them with the NCR, and he will be liked about for doing that. But then he realized he can just unite them for himself and use them for himself. So he slowly started to unite tiny little clans of tribes and stuff. But then it all started his descent into war and slavery, and he enslaved a lot of people. And those people formed the Legion. It kind of happened rapidly, and this is where he took the name Julius Caesar, as the same one from history. So, and I can imagine you guys are thinking, well, if they're slaves and they're fighting for him, and there's more of them, then there's hope. His original tribes formed, I think they're called like the Praetorians of the Caesar, something like that. And he disciplined them with really harsh and bad punishments, torture, you name it, and he started to fight, and you had a big, well organized army of slaves determined to fight and die for the Kaiser. This is strange because the tribesmen that formed the legions started to call Caesar Kaiser as like a kind of a war cry, true to Kaiser. That's what they kind of say. And strange. I mean, I guess it's not that strange because they just say that, but it's interesting to point that out. And their god of war, Mars. Mars was the god. Mars was their god. He was the god of war, and it's said that they worshipped him they uh, because they believe that the Great War, you guys don't know that was the war against China and the America in the Fallout universe. That's how everything's post-apocalyptic. Was a punishment from him, and they needed to repay him with war and conquest. And Mars, Caesar formed the religion of Mars, so it was all his idea. He kind of made he made this god of war. Or, I guess it was already kind of made because people in Rome actually did believe in Mars, and he was the god of war. But they he kind of brought it up again to control his slave army with religion. He used religion, harsh punishments, and his legionnaires were fully devoted for him. They didn't really have the capacity, like the smartness and wit to realize that they were just kind of being used for his own gain. They didn't really realize. They just thought they were fighting for Kaiser, formed another brutal faction. All right, this is the one of the parts waiting for. It's a little short, but still quite it packs punch. The war with the NCR across the Colorado River lay the corrupt and seemingly weak New California Republic. You can see that these guys, the NCR and the Caesar Legion, are kind of opposites. On one side, you got the Republic, democracy, kind of a true country, you can say, a true kind of nation. And on the other side, you got Caesar's, you got the slave empire of Caesar's Legion. It consists of legionaries and slaves. You can kind of see the difference there. You got the imperialists on one side and Democrats on the other. On the Colorado River, so you got two kind of extreme. I guess the NCR are not really extreme, but whatever. And Caesar wanted to go on a grand conquest to prove that the Legion was the true masters of the land. And in the war, and this is an overlap in my NCR, my Rangers video. If you guys didn't watch that, I recommend it. It's quite decent. The Desert Rangers, they became they became the NCR Rangers because they couldn't hold off the Legion. So they made an offer to help the NCR, and in return, they kind of joined the NCR's NCR Rangers. That's the Desert Rangers were kind of the best thing around the Colorado River, but there wasn't a lot of them. Them joining the NCR, the Desert Rangers got to train a bunch of a bunch of soldiers to become Desert Rangers. So that's what I have for the lore for them. It's pretty interesting. Now we have a small little overview, and yeah. So, overview. The Legion is a totalitarian dictatorship. Probably fucking butchered that. Totalitarian. Yeah, something like that. Dictatorship, and the power is centralized in the Caesar. So the Caesar holds all power. That's what dictatorship means. One man with all the power. And they have the legions, but they can't only have the legion. They can't keep producing these well organized slaves, because that's kind of their main thing. They have a lot of soldiers, but most of their soldiers come from the auxiliary as well. The Legion is big, but the auxiliary are just kind of there to fill the gaps, and they're used for cannon fodder. The auxiliaries, who are made up from savage tribesmen who are enslaved and used for cannon fodder before the Legion comes in and attacks. In a battle, it's more like they kind of send out waves upon waves of the auxiliary to kind of dwindle the enemy down. And then they kind of swoop in with the Legion and take them out. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Some lore about the Caesar Legion. I think Fallout doesn't really get enough appreciation for its badass lore. But I think we kind of concluded most of the proper factions from Fallout. So I believe we'll be doing a lot more versus videos in the future. And I got a pretty big project coming up for some Dark Souls lore. You guys should be excited for that. And yeah, that's all I have for today. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.